Well, hey there. I'm going to show you how to do my essence stitch, and this is it right here. It's a very textured stitch. You can see it. Look at it this way. It's got a lot of texture to it, and the other side has a lot of texture too and looks really nice. So you can use both sides of it. They're not the same, but they're both really nice stitches. Okay, so the loom I'm using is a Cindy Wood loom. Looks like everything's rubbed off it, but it is their 40 peg replacement loom for the Purple Nifty Knitter. It's 5/8 inch gauge. I'm using a bulky yarn, and the yarn I'm using is Mary Maxim yarn Aspen, and the color is tenure, and it's blue with a bunch of little flecks. It's quite nice. I like this yarn. It's 100% acrylic yarn, but it feels kind of like it's wool for some reason. Okay, so put it in there, and we'll get started showing you this stitch. Now this stitch I figured out a very long time ago. I think it was like 2 years ago. I was doing my twisty stitch and noticed that it had a slight curl at the base, and so I was looking for a stitch that wouldn't curl, that could balance that, so the twisty stitch would lay completely flat. And so this was the technique I used to keep it from curling, and so this stitch on its own does not curl at all. It does have pearls in it. So if you watch my channel, because I very rarely have pearls, might want to quit watching now, but if you don't mind purling, this one has pearls, gives you a lot of texture, and besides using it in a project like I am here, you can also use it on borders, anywhere that you want a balanced stitch that doesn't curl to help your project. So okay. And why would you use this rather than something like garter? It's a little bit longer stitch, so where garter might be too short a stitch to balance what you're working on, because you're working on a stitch that has a lot more texture, or it's longer in some way, it will balance better with those patterns. Okay. So this, I'm only using 10 pegs for my project, but you can use any pegs you want. The stitch is done on one peg, so you can use odd, even, it really doesn't matter. And I've already done my edge stitch, and I'm going this way, so all you do, and I'm going to do a good close-up because there's not a super lot of contrast between the purple and the blue. So I'm going to purl, and then after I've purled the peg, I'm going to come back and do a U-wrap. So I'm still on the same peg. I'm coming back to do a U-wrap the wrong direction and just knitting it off, and from behind going in front to the next stitch, and then I'm just going to purl that stitch, come back the opposite direction to do the U-wrap, and knit it off. And that's all there is to this stitch. My yarn wants to get caught up. So to purl, you put the hook in the loop here, and you purl it, come back. If you don't know how to purl, there's lots of videos on YouTube of how to purl. We purl, and over. And I'm just going to stop for a minute so I can show you other things in case you, this is just a stitch video, but you might want to do a project. So I did a chain cast on. It looks like that. And I will have that linked on this video. So all you have to do is on the description, scroll down and you'll see a link to the cast on I use and the cast off I'll use with this project that matches this cast on. You can do your sides any way you want, but this is the way I do them. I get this kind of interesting chain look. I like it. It's nice and tight. I'm not a fan of slip stitches. I don't like them, but you're welcome to use them. Just because I don't like them, you might love them. Okay, next one. Put the loom hook in here and purl. Oh, and the other thing is I'm going to probably get questions about this loom hook. And this particular loom hook is a touche crochet loom hook, and I got it on Etsy. Very economical, actually. And I really like it. It's a nice shape. Okay. And over. It's actually a very fast stitch. I just have to set it up kind of awkward so that it's in the camera. It makes it a little harder for me to do the work. Okay, so I did all the way to the edge, and then for the edge stitch, all I'm doing is I'm going over nice and loose in a U-wrap, keeping it really loose, and coming back and knitting it. That's all I'm doing for the edge. And then when we come this way, we just purl. And come back into the U-wrap. So it goes this way. Now this stitch can be done in the round. It doesn't look that much different in the round. The only difference when you're doing it in the round is you're always going the same direction instead of other directions. So when we're doing this, you'll notice that when we're done, oh come on yarn, we have this kind of this work that occurs on the right hand side from what we're doing. So right here, right here, right here. But if you look, we were going this way. It's on this side. So the look it gives in this pattern, it has work. You can see this here is going this direction, and this is going this direction, and that's because we're going back and forth with the yarn. So when you do it in the round, these will all be coming the same direction. So it's a very textured stitch still, but everything's going the same direction. So you don't have this. And on the other side, you see this, you can see the two directions here, this way and this way, this way, this way, this way. They're all going the same direction too. So it's still textured stitch here. You can see it better here that we're having movement going this way, this way, this way. Sort of zigzagging through the work. Well, it will be straight but textured. So it looks a bit different because of that when you do it in the round, but you can do it in the round. Now, do you know which way you're going? Well, you know which way you're going because of which way the work is. Okay? So, when we do the purl, and we come back, we're creating this thing on the right hand side. So we know that's the way we're going. The direction, that little ball there, it's the direction we're going. So if we want to know which direction we're going, we see the yarn here, that's there. We have to be going this direction. Okay. So purl, come back and do the U-wrap. Next peg, purl, come back, do the U-wrap. Purl, come back and do the U-wrap. And purl, come back and do the U-wrap. And then just knit this over. And there you go. We arrive at the other side. And here's what our work looks like. For some reason my camera's lagging a lot. There we go. And then the other side. You can have a good look at it. It has quite a bit of stretch, but not overly stretchy. And it doesn't curl. So there's that. So it can be used all on its own for projects. It's tight enough that you could make little bags and things out of it. You can use it in a lot of projects, or if you're doing a blanket where you had different stitches, you could use this for a textured part of it. It will blend in with any of my stitches, but also it would even blend in with all the knit and purl patterns because it's already balanced with pearls in it. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. The project will be coming. This is going to be made into a project. And in the round, I don't think I'll have a project in the round for quite a while, but in the round it's still a really nice textured stitch, and you would use it where you wanted to have more texture. And even though both sides are really nice and textured, this is the smoother side. So if you were making something like a hat, you would always want this to be the inside just because it's smoother. But if you were doing a scarf or any kind of project like that, you could pick either side to be the front, depending on which look you liked better. Or you could change it up depending how you felt. Okay, so until next time, bye.